welcome to this week's episode of Her Chronicles. It's not really lady-oriented this week. This week I'm interviewing a dude that happens to have a dick. Normally I don't do this, but I only do this when I interview comedians, and this particular comedian actually means a lot to me. I'm going to introduce him. This is a really good friend of mine. His name is Ben Gonzalez. He recently just finished taping an HBO special with Frankie Quinones. Who else again? I'm sorry.
With Vladimir Camano and Luz Pazos and Jessica Keenan and Jesus Sepulveda, Shayla Rivera, Flo Hernandez.
Wow, that's a big old lineup.
Sure was.
Yeah. And we actually met, when did we meet? Lito's Corkroom?
Lito's in October.
Oh, snap. In October? That was October?
I think so, yeah.
No, I couldn't have been October. I don't know. But
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I bombed shitload that night.
I was supposed to go on after you, and I was outside talking to my friend Rob, and I thought I had like 10 minutes to talk, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, the host is already back up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that night, it was actually the worst week ever. You already know why. I'm not going to say why exactly, but I just remember being super depressed, and like you and I just became friends over a while. And I mean, I don't think I've ever bombed that badly. And then I literally had to send you a tape. I'm like, no, I swear I'm decent here.
Yeah, if you guys couldn't tell, I said the host came back on right away because Michelle kind of got off early.
Yeah, I actually walked. It was the first time ever, and I think the only time ever I walked off stage.
It happens.
I walked off because...
Not to me, but...
Oh, I'm sorry, professional. Yeah. You're such a hoe. No, I walked off because two old guys just would not stop talking.
Oh, yeah, I remember those guys. There were two old cholos in that room.
Two old cholos. And it was... it was when the Cubs played the World Series.
It was a rough show. It was Game 7 of the World Series, which is an amazing World Series and an amazing Game 7. Went into extra innings. It was super dramatic. There were two, 70-year-old cholos that would not shut up. They were, both 5'5".
There were a group of cholas too that wouldn't shut the fuck up either, and they made an input on every one of my jokes.
They were a little bit more sensible though than those two old dudes.
Oh yeah, the old dudes were hammered.
It was a hard night for comedy, folks.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah. I think everybody bombed that night.
Well,
everybody. I mean, I walked off, but the only person that I think that didn't was Flacco.
Flacco wound up freestyling.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, remember that guy that went up?
So bombing his relative. I mean, his set was cool, but yeah. Then there was a heckler that came up on stage and he started freestyling, and that whole night went to shit. Normally a great room though, a lot of fun. I mean, it was fun that night too.
A very great room. I cannot.
Shout out to Marquez.
Shout out to Marquez. Yeah, he hasn't done it in a while though.
He's bringing it back though. He was at the taping. He said he was going to come back up soon.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, the reason we're going to have a very interesting topic today because I think everybody should talk about it, but in comedy it's been not necessarily overplayed, but you hear a lot about what's going on in the political climate in comedy, and I feel like it's been, well, for me personally, I think it's getting a little aggressive at this point. And I mean, I don't disagree with most comedy, but
what do you mean?
Oh, how can I say this? I hear it at every show I'm at now. Every single show. It's never...
Do you feel like it's too much?
For me, yeah, because I can't even... I took off CNN as a notification on my phone because I can't deal with it anymore.
You had CNN notifications on your phone?
I got CNN, I got Huffington Post, New York Times, LA Times, yeah. And I had to tune myself out for a while because for me I think it was the main reason I was becoming depressed. So... But what about you? You think...
So it wasn't so much too much comedy as much as you were already oversaturated with political updates and news. And then you go to mics, then you have to hear a bunch of political jokes too, so then you thought it was too much.
Exactly. And I was like, no, I can't hear it. It's why I brought it up because how much... I don't know. I don't know how many notifications you get, or if you even listen to the radio or news. I
turn off everything. I only get notifications on Facebook, and even those, I don't really need them.
Yeah, But then now he cut off the media, so I don't even know
Yeah,
how that's
he
going
didn't
to
really
play.
cut off the media.
Debatable.
He's not letting people into the press conference.
Yeah, but
Press conferences.
aren't those like the main announcements of what he's going to do?
Yeah, but I mean, everybody still sees everything and still cover it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's just him looking like a bitch.
Very, very true. So I know it's obviously politics is relatable to almost not every single audience member, but the majority. Is it relatable to every audience you've come across?
In one way or another, yes. People could get worn out on it the way, like you said, you were also. But I mean, anytime you have like a good take and a good opinion, it could be a good joke. You know what I mean? And people are never going to be tired of a good joke.
That's true. All right. What has been your personal experience with audience reaction to political humor?
It's gone over fine. I don't really do a lot, or at least I didn't think I did a lot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I maybe do like a couple of Trump jokes, and I don't always do them. But I mean, I'm doing them in LA, so
true. Trump
jokes are going to go over pretty well.
Yeah.
In LA.
Yeah. So you've never tested. Well, you're about to be in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could do it there and see how it goes. But I mean,
are you going to try? Do you have the balls to try? Because you have to know that's again, a red state.
But that's also going to be like a Latino room too. You know what I mean? So
but here's the problem. It might be different
for me than for somebody else.
There's Latinos that are for Trump.
Oh, I know. I got relatives that voted for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still want to do it?
Yeah, I'm not worried about it at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. But I mean, in LA we're good. But are you sure you like? I'm scared for you.
I've dealt with Trump people in LA though too.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
All right, like I hosted a bar show that I host usually like once a month.
Are you talking about Brennan's?
Brennan's, yeah.
Okay.
And there was a comic that got into it with a Trump supporter when I was outside. And so I come back in, and the bar patron that got, shit talked him by the comic comes up to me. It's this white dude wearing a Make America Great Again hat, but it's a blue hat. Mm-hmm. It's not red. Mm-hmm. So this guy's pissed off at me. He's telling me, "Hey man, what's the deal with your show? Your comedian is talking trash to me, telling me he's gonna fight me." He's like, "What kind of shit is that?" He's like, "You think that's supposed to be funny?" And I didn't even know who this guy was or what happened. So I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, what happened?" And he explains it to me and everything. Like, who was the guy? Who was the comic that did it? Who threatened you? And the guy wasn't there. Like, I guess the comic had left or whatever. And I still don't totally know who it was that he was even talking about based on like his description and shit. And this guy's kind of drunk and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so he's like, he's just mad at me about my hat. He's like, I don't even give a shit about Trump or Hillary. He's like, I didn't even vote, bro. Yeah. And I'm like, well, dude, why are you wearing the hat? And he's like, well, my buddy bet me $5,000 that I wouldn't wear this hat in LA every night for 5 months. Because I'd get in a fight. I'm like, so how much longer do you have to wear the hat? He's like, I already won the money, bro. Like, why are you still wearing it then? He's like, I just want to see if somebody will fight me. He's like, I got lawyers. He's like, I could sue. He's like, I didn't give a shit. He's like, I'll make another $10,000 off of this hat.
That's a stupid.
I was like, so you want somebody to hit you? He's like, yeah, nobody ever fights me around here. Everybody's a bunch of bitches in this place.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that story, and I was just irritated listening to it.
Oh yeah, so he's like looking for a fight. So I'm like, so you've already gotten $5,000 off of Trump getting elected?
Shoot. Steve Briggs, it says Ben Gonzalez, my boy. Sorry, we're on Instagram Live.
What's up, Briggs? Top-notch hosting going down there.
Yes,
right?
It is.
Podcasting supreme.
Hi, Steve. How are you? Oh my gosh.
All right, so
going back to it, is there anything else that rings a bell?
Yeah, I was still finishing the one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I asked this dude. It's like, you've already gotten $5,000 off of Trump being elected. He's like, nah, dude, I got 15. I'm like, what? And he's like, I bet my mom $10,000 that Hillary would lose. Like, you took $10,000 off of your mom, dude, over the election? He's like, fuck yeah, I did. He's like, you think he was going to fight me? Wow,
this guy's a moron. He obviously has to come from money. To one, be drunk on a Monday, and two,
oh yeah. And I mean, Brandon's is in Marina Del Rey. It is a very wealthy enclave of Los Angeles, so it's not surprising.
Yeah,
you deal with a lot of different types of people there.
Well, you and I were together at a mic on Election Day. You know?
Sure were. Shout out to Killer Mike.
Shout out to Killer Mike.
Kevin and Vanessa. The door.
Yeah, and we both had spots that night.
Oh, yeah.
I did not want to go up because you saw my face glued to my phone. It is not. I couldn't believe what was going on.
Yeah, when we walk out and see the TVs and see what was happening.
I remember walking in and a group of people were just like, "Fuck it, we're gonna get drunk tonight."
Yeah, that was a lot of people. That was the consensus.
It was like, yeah, a lot of people got hammered. A lot of people, but I know the way I felt. I couldn't really tell how you were feeling, and I felt like there was just like this dark disturbance in the room once we knew that Trump was president.
Yes, that's very true.
Like it was like you couldn't. I don't know. For me, it was overwhelming, and I wanted to leave.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I remember some girl. Do you remember? Like she was aggressively yelling at the mic, and then she ended up laying down on the floor.
Yeah, it was Jen Scott.
But she killed it because she was so pissed.
Yeah, she's fun.
What about you? You didn't really tell me about how you felt that night.
I just felt like going up because I always want to go up. And my set was not great. But again, like it was just a weird-ass night.
Yeah.
The energy was all weird in there. But again, also, it was me. Because Dave Ross went on after me, and Dave Ross killed it. Dave Ross is super funny.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Were you working on new material?
Some nights you don't. Yeah, because it was a mic. I always try to do new stuff at mics.
Was it anything related to what was going on? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I don't really remember either. And I did a little bit about what was happening, but nothing like really like prepared. Like my Trump jokes were more. I don't really go into stuff like deep about him and the problems I have with him. Mm-hmm. It's more staying in character with what I do on stage, which is just like having like a stupid perspective on something.
Yeah.
So it was just things like I was disappointed in because I thought he was going to do more celebrity stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think people on the show know my personal political views.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know yours.
Oh, okay.
So what exactly... I guess what political party do you affiliate with, or what do you consider yourself in your views?
I don't know.
You don't have to label it
technically,
but
I don't really go for like conservative or liberal. The way I look at it is, there's fair and unfair.
Okay.
And I will always be on the side of fairness for everybody.
All right.
And I think that. Generally, the root of conservatism, the conservative movement, is basically rich people that want things to be unfair to keep themselves rich.
Mm-hmm.
And they're selling everyone else a bunch of bullshit because nobody would ever just pick unfair always over fair.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
So I'm assuming, were you more of a Hillary supporter or were you more of a Bernie supporter?
Bernie.
Okay, good. Awesome. So was I. All right. I know I said it was starting to become an overkill.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about political? Like, do you notice at every show it's being talked about? And then if so, like, what's your initial reaction when you hear it? Unless it's funny, obviously. But
yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, to me, shitty jokes are overkill of any topic. And I can't take any of it.
Yeah.
To be honest. But I have to. And I have to say shitty jokes, too, because I got to get them out.
Yeah.
And, know what's shitty. And sometimes I think things are going to be great. And then I do it a few times, like, man, the joke sucks.
Yeah.
Or I still think it's great, and other people think it sucks, and I have to retire it anyway, because I don't want to just keep forcing a bad joke on people.
You know what's strange about that is that sometimes, like, people have told me that they've had a shitty joke for a long time, and then one night they just do it differently, and then it works.
Oh, yeah, I've had that a bunch of times.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I have jokes that, like, nobody gets, really, except a few people. And I love the joke because you never see it coming, basically. So that's the whole risk of the joke, is that if people get this and know what I'm talking about, it destroys, because they never expect it. They never hear a joke like that from anybody else. But if they don't get it, it's just dead. And I got to tell people, oh, yeah, you should Google that. I don't even know what to say.
All right, what kind of humor do you think you have? Like, if you were to describe your own, like, comedic presence, how would you explain it to somebody, like, let's say somebody who doesn't even know you, how would you explain like what your comedy style is?
It's wordplay, misdirection. I try to have like a perspective and a character where like I sound smart and stupid at the same time. And so like by the end of my set, like I want people to not be totally sure if I'm really smart or really dumb.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so
maybe you're both.
yeah, that's kind of what I want to leave with. I want to be like ambiguous. I try to like write like the dumbest, smartest joke I can.
Okay.
Every time, and not too long. I have a few longer bits and stuff that stretches out, but for the most part, it's one-liners and like a lot of punchlines and
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Somebody told me dad jokes once.
Oh, I think that was me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're like a dad joke professional.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Professional, you guys.
But you are a dad, so that
This
doesn't.
is true.
You are a father of
Mhm.
two. That's
Sure am.
That's something that surprised me when we met because I thought you were way younger.
I know. People always think that, which is really weird to me.
You look like you're in your 20s.
Well, thanks.
No wrinkles. You should be in a Nivea commercial.
Wow.
What? Just feeding you compliments here. This is awkward.
Moving on.
Yes. Have you seen it? Well, have you ever dealt with a heckler when you're doing a political joke and you kind of had to diffuse a situation or it got really awkward and you had to figure out a way to improv it? Or has it...
I don't
Or
personally...
you see, like, body language and you have to figure it out.
I don't get heckled really that often.
You don't?
And I don't do a lot of political jokes. So I've had like people that are drunk that try to like insert themselves into the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And not even the people that are always drunk. I did a show like 2 weeks ago where this lady just wanted to give her opinion on almost every single thing. And it was like I was booked, but it was kind of like a mic. But
Okay,
I was doing, like,
so it was a
but I was
glorified
doing like
mic.
15 minutes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't that. But it wasn't like it was like a club show where like I need to shut this person down. So I kind of like talked to her and like fucked with her a little bit.
All right.
And I kept thinking like she was going to be done.
But
But
she
she
never
kept
finished.
like kind of just kept jumping back in. Like she'd pause and like, oh, this is a good time for me to jump back in. And it's like, no, it's actually never a good time for you to jump back in. You know? And
Well, what was the situation? Like, what were you saying? Exactly. You don't remember.
I think I was doing that because this is a couple weeks ago. So it's like I was doing new stuff. I've been doing this bit about Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
And so she had to interject with Disneyland. But she loves Disneyland also because it's about like Latinos loving Disneyland too much. And she started going in about how much she loves it and the problems with it. And it's like, I'm not looking to have like a serious discussion about Disneyland with you. I'm trying to set up a fucking joke. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't help.
It does not.
But with the political thing, not really.
No?
I had issues with it. Probably that thing with the Make America Great Again hat guy is like the dumbest shit I've had to deal with lately.
Yeah. Let me see. Besides that night, have you ever seen a comic do really shitty over just political humor in general at another show? Besides your one in Brennan. Anything else that like you can recall in your mind?
Not necessarily. Everybody likes everything about Trump in comedy. You know what I mean?
In regards to what?
Any material that people do about him, like people aren't going to be like, no, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like as long as it's funny, people laugh.
Latinos
if
always
eats
talk
it,
about.
eats it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But then people just move on. So I haven't seen like somebody go through like a big problem or a back and forth with it. But then again, we're in LA,
That's true.
so who knows?
Well, Latinos are. I feel like there's like certain where obviously minority groups cover certain topics. Like Latinos will always cover the wall. Feminists will always talk about "Don't grab my pussy," and then it just goes on and on and on. And like now, it's going to be about the media. So it's always like something interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal opinion. Let's.
They had a the wall joke.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain it to us for the listeners, please?
Sure. I said that after Trump took office. I was doing this joke like a week after he started, 2 weeks after he started. I said I'm for the wall now. I'm pro wall. And my reasoning was that with everything that's going on, all these new policies, corporations, like large corporations that are basically founded or run, or the CEOs are immigrants, some of the best corporations we have in America could leave. So say they move to Mexico that gives them tax breaks or something like that. Now all the best jobs are in Mexico. we all go down to Mexico, where we have, unlimited margaritas, guacamole, shit that is now being taxed to pay for the wall. That doesn't come as freely and cheaply to America anymore. And we have the best jobs and money, and we're partying because, hey, Mexico is great. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right, it's a great place to go, great place to visit. And then pretty soon, all that'll be left in America are people in the red, the flyover states, working shitty jobs, waiting for a factory to open again. They want to come down to Mexico to work, and now we have a wall to keep them out. So that was my wall bit.
This actually sounds more smart than...
I know, and it was long. I had like a hard time getting to it being quick and funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of abandoned it because I don't like to take too long to set up a joke or to get to a punchline. And that was like 4 or 5 sentences of setup for me, which is like crazy to me. And so I stopped doing it.
So you're not much of a storyteller comic, is what you're saying?
If the story has a bunch of punchlines, yes, I'll do it. If it's a good story with a lot of laughs in it. But if I have to keep setting up and setting up and setting up, I'll bail on it.
But sometimes the setup is a beautiful thing. Because then once the punchline's in, it's really strong. Because it's something you wouldn't expect.
I know. And I have a few bits like that. But again, like it has to feel right to me. Because if I feel like I'm going too long without a laugh, then I abandon.
All right. Well, you already told me that you did already have some political jokes. Have you noticed it work for you in your favor, or that it hasn't and you like let it go? Obviously, you have that one example, but anything else you've tried to work on that you're just like, fuck it, I can't do it, or I'm gonna keep doing this one and keep working on this one?
Most of them, but that's most of my jokes in general. You know what I mean? And a lot of stuff like I didn't think was political necessarily, because when I think of like a political joke, I'm just thinking about something about politics specifically, or the president. I'm not thinking about all the topics of jokes that I do stuff on. Mm-hmm. And I don't know the percentage exactly, but I'd say most of the jokes that I try and give up on, they don't work. Yeah.
Most of them?
Yeah.
Oh.
All the stuff I have, the half hour or whatever I have that I think is good, I mean, I cut that down from like hours.
Really?
Of stuff, yeah, that just wasn't that good.
Huh.
Or that was good before and just isn't as good as the stuff that I like now, so I don't feel like doing it. Just you go through a lot of jokes. And if you don't go through a lot of jokes, then you're probably not that good. Because you're not really growing and you're not moving through your shit, you know what I mean?
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Obviously there's political topics. Let me see. Have you made jokes about political topics? If so, what? So examples would be like abortion or immigration, gay rights.
Yes.
Voter topics. I don't know if you voted for the condom or not in porn. Things like that.
I have a condom joke. But I don't know. Not voter jokes, but one of my closers is an abortion joke. And
really?
Yeah.
Can I hear
an immigration joke? The cookie joke?
No, the abortion joke.
Yeah, it's the cookie joke.
I've never heard it.
Okay. I tell people I just do this at the end, and I'll tell people like I feel like we're friends now. I want to confess something, and I confess that I'm pro-life. Okay. I'm super pro-life now. I was pro-choice before, but now I'm pro-life. I switched sides. I'm pro-life. And the reason I'm pro-life is I got a good friend who is totally pro-life. This is a cool guy. He's completely against abortion, but he eats cookie dough. Like, he eats raw cookie dough as a snack. He eats cookie dough ice cream. And it's like, dude, you're a hypocrite. Like those are cookie fetuses. It's cookie abortions, basically. Like, they never stood a chance to make it as real cookies, and you're just taking them out. And he's like, nah. It's not a cookie till it comes out of the oven. I'm like, no, bro. It's a cookie when the butter and the sugar penetrate the egg. And then I say cookie begins at confection.
It does. Anything? What about?
And actually, that joke's died a couple times.
Really?
Which is hard because it's the closer. But because, they'll say, you shouldn't have told an abortion joke. Like, you were having a great set, and you ended on a fucking abortion joke. I was like, I thought this was a good joke.
See, for me, like, I want to talk about abortion because I've actually had one before, but I'm
Uh-huh.
afraid to,
To make a joke about it?
yeah, because it affected my life completely.
Do you feel there's a joke there?
I know when I start digging, then maybe, but it's been. I was 22. I'm 26 now. It's been 4.5 years. So I'm. I mean, the only thing I ever said was, like, I made an executive decision. She had to leave. Yeah, that's fucked up.
Right? You made it into a Trump joke now. You're fired.
You're fired. Yeah, I that was, like, the only time. I was relating to my sisters being pregnant, and then I was like, well, I was pregnant once, but I made an executive decision. Like, that's it. And, but that's still pretty dark, and I know I could see the reaction of the audience. I kind of cringe a little bit. Or maybe I'm cringing at myself, and I have no idea. But
depends on the audience.
It was at the Comedy Store where I did that.
Still. There's a lot of different audiences at the Comedy Store.
Oh, yeah, there are. Well, it wasn't an open mic.
Yeah.
It was an actual people show.
Mm-hmm.
What about immigration? Because I know you're Latino like me. You don't have any jokes about immigration at all?
Yeah, I do the green card joke.
Really?
Yeah. I say my because I do this joke about paisas. And then I say my cousin's a paisa. And I say my cousin he actually just got his weed card. He thinks he's a citizen now.
All right, well, let me just touch base on immigration because I know my parents are immigrants.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They were both born...
Your parents?
No, your parents.
Oh, no. Both my parents were born in Chile, moved to Venezuela. They basically escaped communism twice.
Right, I know.
And then they moved to Miami.
Okay, you want to know something?
What?
The Venezuelan dictator that they escaped?
Hugo Chavez?
The second time? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, not Chavez. The dude before him.
Oh, it's not Salvador Allende. It's somebody else, but I can't even remember the name right now.
His daughter is my friend's ex-wife.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She's a billionaire.
Huh?
She's a billionaire.
Not that daughter.
Really?
Yeah. And her mom tried to assassinate Castro. Like, her mom worked with the CIA. It's true. It's a trippy story.
And they live here?
Yeah,
or she lives here?
She did live here, and then they divorced, and she moved to Costa Rica.
Smart.
Yeah.
That place is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
It's so beautiful there.
Good place to live.
I think I might do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm just going to sell tortillas in the street.
Start a podcast.
I'm going to start a podcast while selling tortillas.
Mm-hmm.
No other food, just tortillas. But no, what about your parents? Because
my dad's an immigrant.
Your dad's an immigrant?
My dad's from TJ.
Damn.
Uh-huh.
How did you meet your mom? Or, like, what's the story on... I know you have a very interesting story about your grandpa, so I want to get to that. But I want to know, like, what it means for you to, like, have immigrants here, or, like, do you feel like they should be all welcome? Like, what is your stance exactly on immigration?
Yeah, everyone should be welcome. If you're trying to seek a better life. It's not like people just want to leave their house for shits. You know what I mean? And even if they did want to come here to be an actor or whatever, like, what, you moved here to be an actor and nobody else can? Get the fuck out of here. But if people are just, you're fleeing war or gangs or whatever it is, it's horrible in your life to where you have to pack it up and move to America, which is, not great if you're not from here and you have to move here. Then more power to you. Who am I to tell you to stay out? It's crazy.
But your dad came here and what was
he was
your
a
dad?
baby.
Oh, he's a baby?
Yeah, so here's the thing. My grandfather, his father, was actually born in Arizona and never knew it. He was raised in Mexico, lived in Mexico his whole life. He never knew he was American.
Oh, wow.
So his father had a ranch. His father died when he was 13, and he was the only boy. He had 9 sisters, and he took over his ranch. So he ran a ranch from age 13 on. And eventually moved to TJ, married my grandma, had my dad, and one of his aunts came to him to visit and gave him his papers. Told him, you're actually from Arizona. You're an American. You can just go to America whenever you want. So he's like, all right, fuck it. He sold his stuff and bought a place in Venice and started working.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad now is a firefighter, correct?
No, he's retired.
Oh, he's retired?
Mm-hmm.
How long was he a firefighter for?
He was a firefighter for 32 years.
Wow.
For LAFT. Now he's a baseball umpire.
Now your dad has a baseball umpire?
He is a baseball umpire. That's what he loves.
That's what he umpire.
That's what he chose to do in his retirement, is umpire college and high school baseball.
It's actually pretty cool.
He loves it.
Your dad says, strike!
He loves it. He loves getting in arguments with coaches and ejecting people from games, and just he loves being in charge of shit.
You know what's funny? Like, your dad, obviously, that means he kind of likes conflict. You're completely the opposite of that.
Kind of, yeah.
And your grandpa, I know, I have to ask, because, like, I remember you told me, and I was like, what? He founded Univision?
No. He was, like, their first news director.
Huh.
Univision was it started off, it was a UHF station in LA, KMEX. Still KMEX, technically, but that's what it was in the 80s and stuff.
Well, it's K-Love now, right?
No, dude. Kayla's a radio station, man.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You made it seem like it started off as a radio station.
Nah, not a radio station, a UHF station.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, yeah, because you're 26. Man, I have to explain TV now to somebody.
Well, you have to explain to our audience members.
Yeah, I guess so. That's right, man. I'm having an old man moment here. All right. Before there was satellites and even cable, you just had channels, right? You had the regular network channels. Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 5, Channel 11, Channel 13. Those were like the regular channels, right?
Basic channels.
Yeah, that's what CBS and NBC and ABC, and then Fox was later. That's how old I am. There wasn't even Fox.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Fox came when I was like 10.
Okay.
Yeah. I still remember the first shows on Fox. It was Married with Children. Married with Children and Tracy
But that was
Ullman.
a great show to start off with.
Oh, Married with Children was the bomb. God, I love that show. All right. So when you went further down your dial, there were like other channels that were like local channels, kind of.
Okay.
And those were called UHF channels. And they were mostly like channels like in Spanish.
Okay.
All right. So they were like, at first there were only a couple, and one of them was KMEX, and that was the main Spanish language channel that eventually became Univision.
Ah, I see.
So my grandfather was the news director and the anchorman for their newscast, and then when they became Univision, he was the first news director and anchor for Univision News. Okay. So like Jorge Ramos, like my grandpa gave him his first job.
Yeah, and Jorge Ramos has basically made his own empire with journalism in itself.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's
in his book, he talks about the first Thanksgiving he ever had in America, or the first Thanksgiving he ever had, period, is at my grandpa's house.
I'm really jealous. That's my dream, to meet Jorge Ramos. I'm in love with that guy. I think everybody should be. Let me see. Do any of those jokes like hit home for you because of your experiences and what you've gone through, and like, I don't know, maybe do politics?
Every joke hits home for me.
Really? What? Every joke hits home for you? Really?
Yeah.
Every single one?
Yeah.
Even your paleo
Every
joke?
single joke. They're my babies, these jokes. Especially the ones at work and have gotten me laughs and I can rely on them. God, I love the jokes.
They're your babies.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Besides your kids. Mm-hmm. Cool. Good to know that you have multiple babies.
So many babies.
So many babies.
About 20 at a time.
You really are Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was really mean. That was supposed to be a joke, but I don't know if it came off that way. Let's see. What are some of your political comedian inspirations?
Political comedian inspiration.
So I'll just throw out examples out there.
I know you mean. Who I liked a lot.
Or who do you love that like every single time will make you laugh? No
I
matter
know,
what.
but I just think of my comedians I love in general. I'm trying to think of if they're also political.
I know you like Jim Jeffries.
Yeah. I don't even really think of him as political, though.
Well, it's not like he has his own political...
Like, I love Louis Black. I guess he's political.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Bill Maher still.
If you think about it, Jim Jeffries, the reason he became viral was because of his political humor.
Oh, you mean on the last special with his gun thing? Yeah, but that's how he became viral, though. But
that went viral.
But I loved him for a long time before that, and that was another cool thing for him, you know?
Yeah. Who else?
But yeah, he's great. I don't know, because that's the thing. I try to think of who I love. I love Chris Rock. Like I think Chris Rock is the best comedian ever.
Is he a political? Does he ever touch on political subjects?
He does, but I wouldn't consider him a political comedian.
Yeah, because like, he mostly does like black jokes and like things like that. And
He's supposed to do black jokes.
Huh? No, but a lot of them, if they were political, it has to do with like how black people are affected in certain scenarios.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd say that.
Like, I'm pretty sure he has a bit. Like, he's about to tour right now, and I know he has a bit of Lives Matter.
Yeah.
So, exactly. That's what I mean.
Like Dave Chappelle, I guess.
What about Al Franken, Russell Brand?
Yeah. But I don't really think of Al Franken like a comedian.
Really?
I'm thinking like of stand-ups.
Oh, no, because
like,
I looked up political comedian on Google, and his name came up.
That's
again,
like,
I've never
in
seen
the
his
broad
stuff.
stroke of the word comedian, you know what I mean? Like, I think Al Franken is really funny.
Okay.
And I love SNL and Stuart Smalley and all that stuff. I think he's an awesome like guy and a great senator. You know what I mean? I'd support him if he ran for president in 2020 if there wasn't somebody better.
Okay.
I think he's good, but I wouldn't think of it like a stand-up comedy.
Okay. And on the last question, are you currently working on any political premises or ideas that you're trying to feed off of? And which ideas would you like to discuss, or would you rather keep them a secret?
Yeah, I don't want all these biters on IG Live to steal my hot political takes. I don't know. I haven't really thought of like whether or not I'm doing apolitical stuff. Like I'm even like looking through tweets and.
I sent you all these questions before.
Yeah, no, I actually forgot about that one. I 100% forgot that was one of the questions.
That's
Sorry.
Okay. No worries.
But I have a bad guest over there.
You know, you're not. You're fine. But, all right. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of Her Chronicles. If you like and support our podcast, you can always come and support us at if you like books as well, and if you want to hear them at www.audibletrials.com/TAC. Thank you so much, and have a great week whenever that will be.